Back in 2007, when the Wii was just in its little baby years, everyone was talking about it. Little Billy wanted to play it. Grandma wanted to play it. Grandpas everywhere finally quit watching Wheel of Fortune for the first time in weeks because it just had to see what all the fuss was about. And naturally, Nintendo knew that they had a hit on their hands, so they did what any video game company would do whenever they have a successful product.
Make a bunch of worthless accessories.
There was all kinds of these wasted piles of plastic lying around. Tennis rackets, Wii wheels, fishing rods. Even old cooking mama got her a sweet set of utensils so she could be in the kitchen cooking up something good. Hey mama, you making them ribs again? So in hindsight, none of these piles of ass were really anything to write home about. I never really felt like any of these actually made any difference in the actual gameplay. I guess maybe the Wii wheel did for Mario Kart. But then I realized after a year of playing that game that I could just use the classic controller, so then I threw that thing in the trash. But there was one accessory that managed to live up to the hype and the pure, raw, unadulterated charisma. The Wii Zapper. The Wii Zapper started development as early as the creation of the Wii Remote back in, I don't know, and it was mainly intended for use on games like arcade shooters and first-person shooters. You see, the main reason that they wanted a peripheral like this is because they found that the traditional Wii Remote was just a little uncomfortable whenever people tried to play shooty games. And I mean, I don't disagree. This is how you hold it to shoot. Ew. And boy did they do a bang-up job with it, because the Wii Zapper is the epitome of comfort. It has a sleek molded plastic exterior, approximately 3.5 inches of shaft for your hand to rest on, and unlike my dad's approval of me, absolutely no kickback. The prototype of the Wii Zapper was shown off as early as E3 2006, and back then, it kind of looked like a shotgun. And 1 year later at E3 2007, they showed off something that looked a little more like the final design that you see here in all its glory. The end design of the Wii Zapper has the Wii Remote housed in the top part of the unit, and then it has the nunchuck wired to sit in the back. The cord connects the two together and it's hidden inside this compartment. Now there's not really any extra functionality to this thing, it just puts the two controllers together in this more gun-like fashion that's, you know, some might say promotes violence, but to that I say nay. It just feels good.
So the Wii Zapper finally launched in Japan in October of 2007 with a pack-in title called Ghost Squad. And if you got a couple minutes, I'd like to tell you a little bit more about it.
Hey y'all, Scott here. Cheese, love it, hate it, shredded, cubed. But what do we really know about cheese? Well, it's a sort of moldy thing derived from cows. We know this, science says so. But there's so much more to cheese that we don't know about, which is why I prepared my 3-hour-long monologue called The Colby Chronicles.
It's like this every Sunday. Scott, we talked about this. I'm trying to record a video down here.
Oh, what a coincidence, because I'm trying to talk up here. Have you ever heard of Gorgonzola?
Yeah, I think that's a salty blue one that looks like my grandma's couch. Anyway, do you like the Wii Zapper?
It's alright, I don't know if I'd catch myself talking about it in a YouTube video though.
Great! You're hired.
Ghost Squad is an on-rails arcade shooter that originally released by Sega in 2004. It was pretty good in terms of providing good simulated feedback to the person who was playing it, since the gun that you shot with actually had force feedback recoil and an iron sight, which, you know, that's pretty cool. And actually, you also have to flick your reticle off screen to reload, which is supposed to simulate reloading a gun in real life, but really you just kind of wind up looking like this. I love this really focused type of gameplay. This is just like arcadey goodness stripped down to its core. Think of games like House of the Dead or Time Crisis or something like that. Just solid on-rails scripted action with you being the pilot of this story, gunning down terrorism, and saving the president with absolutely incredible voice acting.
You've been surrounded! Release the hostages and surrender!
I'm sorry.
The game is set across 3 different missions that have branching paths and multiple endings, which was kind of unique and cool for an arcade game, especially at that time. Now, as you're going throughout each mission, it lets you choose what path that you want to take, which can actually change the outcome of the mission. Things like, do I want to rush in and save all these hostages first, or do I want to gas bomb this whole place and run in and shoot everything holding a gun, you know? That kind of thing. And one thing that I really like about this type of arcade shooter too is it also like wants you to collect new things too. Like you can shoot items in the world to get drops like item boxes and high cap magazines. And the more you play the game, it also allows you to unlock even more costumes and even more guns to use, and all the guns do actually feel a little different compared to one another, which is nice because it adds a little extra flavor to the game. Now the Wii version of the game carries over all this content, but it also adds online rankings into this mix, which if you want to access those rankings, probably gonna be waiting a couple of minutes.
Actually, while I was recording footage for this game, I thought it would be funny to upload my ranking as a quick joke for the video, but it actually crashed my game and I sat there for 15 minutes waiting for it.
Now, I'm not gonna go out on a limb here and say that something like Ghost Squad is Oscar worthy. might be stretching it a tad bit. It's your typical arcade game type of fare. Something happened, you immediately need to spring into action because mom is only allowing you to play 3 games at the arcade, so we don't got no time for no storyline now, Jacob. Now, what I will say is that Ghost Squad has what I like to refer to as the perfect amount of cheese. It's kind of like when game designers make a game for an arcade cabinet that they're like afraid you're not going to be able to see or hear the game very well, so everything is just so over the top. Like how the main characters here just dodged an entire round of machine gun ammo even though they're like 7 feet away from the guys who are shooting it. This is part of the reason why I love this game so much. It's not trying too hard to be taken seriously. It knows it's a game and it just wants you to have fun with it.
This game is incredible. But enough about ghosting and squatting, it's time to talk about... Actually, Scott, you think you can take this one? I need some water.
I'm more of a lemonade guy.
Cabela's Dangerous Hunts was a series of games back in the day that old dudes and drunken college kids would play whenever they were slacking off and it wasn't deer season. These games were meant to emulate the feeling of going to an arcade and shooting a bunch of animals. The only problem is, they stunk! 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 5 out of 10. These were dog shit, and Activision just kept pumping them out. Probably because Jacob's family kept buying them.
Hey!
In my experience, Cabela games can be alright. The big game hunter games are okay in short bursts, and there's plenty of fun to be had at the arcade while you're waiting for your pizza to be made at the hut. But Dangerous Hunts? Yeah, these games blow. And the mediocrity starts right off at the game disc screen. This is just a JPEG pasted with some royalty-free horror music that I've heard somewhere before. Now this is some promising animation! Oh, and here we are, Cabela's Dangerous Hunts 2009.
Why does this look like Splinter Cell had sex with the Lion King?
God, the user interface on this is ass! So the main objective of this game is to go around these large open areas and look for different animals to kill. Different missions provide different animals for you to slaughter, so, you know, it's not traumatizing for a small child to watch at all. The game wants you to feel this sense of dread and fear while you roam the Pride Lands looking for things to take down. It's probably why there's a lack of music playing, so you can hear anything and everything that farts out here. The only problem with them wanting to feel scared is this is what happens when a hyena runs up to you. Now in a game like this, you would think the biggest priority would be the aiming and the overall movement of the character. You would think! This feels terrible to play! It's not exactly the easiest to showcase, but reminding your brain to move with the stick and aim while moving through the world just feels so janky in this game. I see what the developers were trying to do, but they definitely did not succeed here. And for God's sakes, why is the shoot button Z? Why is it not the big giant trigger button attached to the gun? And we even selected the Zapper control scheme. Look at this! I'm just trying to shoot! Now, I usually like to think of myself as good at video games, but when I'm playing this, you know, I think I'm starting to question that.
That's how you have to deal with them when they get vicious. That's how you have to deal with them when they get vicious. That's how you have to deal with them when they get vicious.
So is that how you have to deal with them whenever they get vicious, Scott?
Yep!
So I walked around for 10 minutes, got bored, and decided to give up my hunting career. The best part about it was, I didn't even hunt anything. I walked around looking for things, punched some hyenas, shot a beehive, and then I killed 2 birds, but the game told me I was banned for not following the rules.
God, I was thirsty.
Link's crossbow training. The game whenever Link decided he was getting sick of hitting pots with a sword and decided to terrorize the village with open gunfire instead. This game was pretty obviously just a quick slapdash that Nintendo wanted to throw in with the Wii Zapper, but to be honest, it's actually pretty fun. It was built on the same engine that ran Twilight Princess, which is a pretty apparent right from the second you turn it on because, I mean, it's brown. The nice thing about this game is I don't really try to bother cramming a story that doesn't really belong there, and I mean, some would call that lazy, but honestly, I'm perfectly happy with that decision because that means that we don't have to sit through another thrilling spin-off tale forced on us like when Nintendo made Dance Dance Revolution Mario Mix, which I loved. So here's the main menu for Link's crossbow training. Now what's funny about this is Nintendo made 3 separate menu choices here for basically the exact same thing. First up is Score Attack, the main mode of the game where you play through all the levels and you try to get a high score on each of them. Then you have Multiplayer here where you grab a friend or your pet and play through all the levels and try to get a high score on each of them. And finally, you have Practice, where you play through all the levels and you try to get a high score on each of them.
I love diversity.
Score Attack is comprised of 9 levels that are all divided up into 3 different subsections. Each of these sections represent a different type of gameplay. So there's Target Practice, where you sit back and you watch all the targets pop up and shoot them. And alright, that's exciting. Then there's the Defender levels where you are in third-person view and then you have to turn around and defend yourself from the enemies that are trying to kill you. There's the Ranger levels where Link remembered how to walk again and you hunt out enemies. And then there's some other random levels thrown in there like fruit balloons, skull shooting, and this massive onslaught of birds that you have to kill. Jesus Christ, who shat in your nest? So the main thing that you're looking for here are points. And how do you get these points, you ask?
Oh, I know this! It's genocide, right?
God, he's so smart. In this game, there's 4 different ranks that you can get for each level: bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. Bronze is required for you to be able to advance to get to the next level, but it's actually pretty simple to get on pretty much all the levels. The real challenge is coming from you trying to get platinum on each level, because how the fuck? It can actually be pretty challenging getting all these platinums, because if you do want to rack up those points, then basically what you have to do is not miss. Link's crossbow training is basically like other shooty games where basically you just have to keep a combo going by being pretty sparing with your ammo and just getting a nice long chain of hits going. Now if you're able to keep this up for a while, then you'll have a pretty good chance of having a platinum medal at the end of your run. On the one hand, this is really fun because it really makes you focus and try hard to get platinums, but on the other hand, it's extremely frustrating because you could be having an amazing round and then you can miss like 3 hits and you're just screwed. But between the different types of levels and the skill and focus that's required to play this, Link's crossbow training is actually pretty fun. Yeah, you can like stay up one night and beat it within like an hour or 2 if you really want to, but this is the type of game that's just begging for you to replay it so you can get better and better.
But Jacob, we don't have time to replay anything because now we have to talk about Chicken Riot.
So you know how the Wii was home to an assload of shovelware games that were just trying to cash in on the popularity of the console? This isn't one of them!
Max points bonus.
Chicken Riot originally released in 2010 for the Wii. Now, I don't know if this was a full price game when it came out back then, but for $6.99 at the local GameStop, I think it's kind of worth it. Chicken Riot is extremely similar to Link's crossbow training. The level structure is nearly identical. You fly around a farm outside, have a bunch of targets pop into frame, shoot them on the face, rinse and repeat. This game is different in the sense that it doesn't take itself seriously at all. Are the chickens stealing something? Are they planning to bomb me? What the hell is going on here? The game's story mode is played out through these images that show up at the beginning of each mission, where these chickens are just terrorizing this poor man for no apparent reason. So instead of you running away and letting them take over your farm, you decide to mass murder them all and steal their golden eggs, because why not? Can you imagine getting back to the office on Monday morning and someone asks you how your weekend was and you say,
I shot digital chickens.
So like most other shooting games of this nature, the main goal here is to get as high of a score as possible. You achieve this by stringing together combos, hitting objects in the environment like jars of milk, golden eggs, and everyone's favorite fruit, the watermelon. The more points you get, the higher your score is. I know, it's rocket science. Chicken Riot does a really good job in some instances making you really feel like there's an invasion here. Some of these levels get a little insane with how much poultry is flying around in your face. But just when you think you're starting to get the hang of the game, they throw a new type of chicken at you, and it's amazing. There's chickens that are spoofs of the Terminator, there's chickens that are spoofs of Agent Smith from The Matrix, there's even a Darth Vader chicken.
Oh god, it's Darth Cock!
Aside from the story mode, there's also mini games. And guess what you do in them? Shoot chickens. There's achievements too, this game is amazing! Chicken Riot is one of those games that make you realize you really shouldn't judge a game by its box art, unless it's FIFA 21, and then that's okay. The levels are kinda long, but otherwise this was a nice surprise. It's obviously not the best Wii game on the market, that probably goes to either Super Mario Galaxy or Alvin and the Chipmunks. But if you're looking for a quick gaming session that's a lot of fun and you just happen to already have the Wii turned on, then Chicken Riot's the way to go.
So the Wii Zapper is one of those peripherals that I actually did remember getting a lot of playtime out of. Yeah, now, I mean, it probably could have added a little more functionality to the Wii Remote and the Nunchuck rather than just giving them like a little vacation home here. But, I mean, for the most part, it's pretty good. Hey, Scott! Hey, what's our outro gag? I got nothing.
I don't know, man. Just show him your box art for Resident Evil Dark Side Chronicles or something.
Hey everyone, I just wanted to say thanks so much for everyone watching this video, and I wanted to give a specific big thanks to Scott for being on here. We had a lot of fun making this, a lot of fun ideas bouncing back and forth, and I really enjoyed making this episode, so thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna go now. I got some buffalo sauce on my pants from dinner, and I gotta clean that up. And Daisy also is just sitting here, and she's pouting pretty hard. She really wants to go outside, so I'm probably gonna take her out.
Hey Daisy, hey, do you want to go outside? Oh, do you want to go outside? Oh, yeah? You want to go outside?
Okay, we're gonna go now.